Greetings and welcome everyone. Welcome to DevChatter. We are just going live now, so if you are sitting around, I want to say hi. We had House Bazook come in with the 11-month resub on a Tier 1 sub, and I have too much hair right now. And S&B as well. Welcome everyone, welcome to the stream. Glad that some of you made it out. Yes, I know I have not been doing enough streams during the lockdown and everything like that. It's shocking how much a person that worked from home all the time anyway, staying at home, just doesn't feel like, it's just hard to stream during the lockdown. I don't know. Anyway, I am here. We're going to be doing some a couple of things today. Let me know if my audio is weird. I did change some things before the stream today. I also messed with my overlay, so not sure whether things are going to work right. So if anything looks weird or off, I know my hair is messed up because my lighting is kind of wonky because I haven't been using it all the time, so I can't mess with stuff. Yes, S&B, the mod view in Twitch is actually really nice now, and welcome Magic Spark, and S&B and House Pursuit, welcome everyone, welcome to the stream. We're going to go ahead and get started. Not sure how many people are going to show up. When you don't stream for like a month, and even before that you were streaming weekly, people stop, like, planning for your streams. It's one of those pieces of advice back when I used to teach about Twitch streaming that I would tell people that I was like, the best way to have growing numbers is to be really, really consistent. Because if you're really consistent in your exact same time, people plan to show up. And that's when your viewership actually goes up. So even if they love your content and they enjoy watching it, they have fun while they're there, it doesn't matter if you're not there consistently, because they won't have it in their schedule to show up. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to work on today. So obviously we're going to be doing some coding. The stuff that I'm planning on working on today is, as you can probably guess from that little blurb there, we are going to try to wrap up some of the stuff we were doing on Interactive 7, which is our program that ties into Final Fantasy 7, which, for those of you that aren't keyed into like the current gaming news and things like that, a game released during the like lockdown, and at least in the US, and lockdowns in a lot of other places too. The game that released is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that is actually the like 22-year later launch of a remake of the game that we are working on. So it's actually kind of a neat thing. I have not been playing it. We're not really going to talk about the remake here in the chat, because that's not really relevant, and we don't want to hit like spoilers and anything for that for anyone that does want to play it. Obviously, for a 22-year-old game, I'm not usually worried about spoilers too much. I'm not going to like delve into the plot of the game, because if someone does want to play, they could just go out and buy it. I think it's like $6 on Steam right now, or something ridiculously cheap like that. But again, 22-year-old game, and there's a Steam sale going on right now, but I guess there's always a Steam sale going on, isn't there? Okay, so let's jump into our coding. So when last we were working on this project, some of you may remember that we were building a WPF application in .NET Core. So .NET Core 3 and on gives us, we're a 3.1 app, I think, but 3 and on gives us the ability to use .NET Core in a WinForms, WPF, or a UWP application in Windows. As of yet, the GUI frameworks are not cross-platform, so while I could build a console application or a web application that was hosted in Linux or something like that, this program will only run in Windows for now. I am hoping that someone at some point, either Microsoft or potentially third party, makes it so that this could cross over into Linux, but we'll see. That being said, without some effort, you're not going to run Final Fantasy VII in Linux anyway, so we don't have to worry too much about it. Okay, so let's have a look at our application and where it is. I think this just runs right now, but let me click a button and find out. Fingers crossed, everyone. Did that not go? Come on. F5 totally runs this. All right, I'll click the button. Visual Studio, what are you doing? I are developer. Derp. Weird. Okay, there we go. Not sure why that was so slow. Okay, so this is the application, what it currently looks like. Anyone that's been following along fairly closely is going to notice that I have made some changes. I'm planning on putting a little menu color preview down here, and I'm going to get rid of this menu color view because I kind of don't think anyone's really going to... Like, while this is better than using the interface in the game to change the color, I don't think anyone's actually going to use it. But maybe I'm wrong. So this is how you choose 4 menu colors in here, and I could go adjust this control to work with a dark, like, layout, but I don't really feel like it. Because I'm kind of like, yeah, we don't need to. Okay, so I don't remember what I showed last time we were on the stream, but we added to this application some styling and some theming just to make it look a little bit nicer. And people like to have some semblance of control, so if you don't like blue, you could change it to red, or you could pick any other color that you want as well. So maybe you want it in that's really ugly. But hey, if you like it, why not? So maybe someone likes this color palette and they can choose that, and yay. So we added a little bit of styling to the application. Ooh, I need to fix that text. See, there's a problem. And, hey, S&B, it's not rigged, look. You won. I moved all of our settings into a separate settings window, so it's no longer in the main one. And we have all of our settings over here for if people want to mess with it. I kind of made this window just like fit to the size that it's got instead of like holding one. And if you do shrink it down below what it needs, it scrolls. So the layout works pretty well right now. But this is what the application does today. And if we... You know what? I'm going to switch back. I like blue better. There we go. Much easier on the eyes. Okay, so this is all the various settings, of which we have a lot. Hey, Rambling Geek. Welcome. And I saw someone else in here. Cadmus. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so... I didn't give really that much intro in the beginning. I told everyone that we are building this application that is designed, that has some connection to Final Fantasy VII, but I didn't talk about this. If you are one of our regular viewers, you already know, but if you are not one of our regular viewers, first off, welcome. I am going to show you the application that we're building. So this is Interactive 7. In theory, if I click this button, despite having not clicked it in a month, okay, Interactive 7 is live. Excellent. Now that command that Janiscu tried should work. So if we go ahead and do a menu random, like what he tried, we get a random menu color in the game live while we're playing. We don't have to be on this menu screen. You could be in a combat, you could be walking around, you could do whatever you want, and the menu color is going to change based on what someone puts in there. You could also do what Janiscu just did in chat there and type in 4 colors, and it will apply those to the corners in top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So that's the order that they were put in there. So that one, that one, that one, that one. And that is just changing the colors. We can also go back to the default palette. This is the standard color palette for the game, and the menu looks like this. Now, we are not doing anything like really... we're not doing anything crazy here, though I have plans to do crazy in some of our other endeavors here on this project. But the game was built to handle the window coloring effect that we're doing. So they had this already. So we are manipulating a few values in order to make this work. Ooh, lime green. Thanks, buddy. Let me just click this other button and get rid of that. Hey, Simon, welcome to the stream. It's always fun to announce yourself with lime. I think, actually, menu lime is worse. Oh, yeah, lime is worse than lime green. That is absolutely true. Ooh, chartreuse. That's also painful. Let's go with random. See, as I fight chat over the menu colors. But anyway, that's the neat effect, is that like someone could be playing the game and chat is just like messing with everything while they're going. So that's actually the neat effect. So we have a lot of Final Fantasy streamers that want to be able to do this because, well, why not give chat the ability to control those colors? It does nothing to affect the actual gameplay. So some people like it because you could do a speed run and chat could still have control of the menu colors, and it really doesn't affect it. That being said, I don't think people would submit the speed run for like a world record or something like that, but if they were routing or just practicing or something, then there's no real reason not to have this stuff turned on. So can't have beer with the lime. Yeah. So that's actually a pretty interesting color palette. So there's neat stuff that you can do, and we've built a lot of other things into the program as well. So it's not just about the menu colors, but it's other like game manipulation type stuff. So some of the other ones do have impact on the game, but as an example, you'll notice that the character on the bottom, his name is Barrett, and I could change that, for example, if I wanted to. So I can use a chat command, and now Barrett's name is Cadmus. Congratulations, Cadmus. And chat just has control of that. So at this point, if someone else wanted to snipe away Barrett's name into something else, they could do the same thing. So we built this as a way of essentially helping like full-time streamers and things like that, because, well, okay, I'm going to tell you something that's going to shock all of the people that are regulars here. I like Final Fantasy VII, and I enjoy watching people play it and speedrun it, because it is a game that I enjoy. So why not support people that are making a thing that I like? So that's easy. So here we go. Let's dive in to some of the stuff that we wanted to do today. So I mentioned, also look, that's the colors. See, I mentioned that these were set to the colors. There's the default color palette. This is the Brendan color palette. And you'll notice this is changing, but we're not seeing this change. The game does something interesting, and that is when you're not in it, it doesn't actually update its display. So it sort of pauses the game while you don't have this window in the front. So if you ever notice it not updating, that's why. Hey, Mesmerize. Yeah, no, I really enjoy i7. I think it's a lot of fun. Something else, I would really like to be able to get this running at like charity events and things like that. So like the marathons. So when I first started building this, I was like, this would be really cool to have running at like a GDQ or an RPG limit break or anything along those lines, because, well, you give chat the ability to throw money at a game while they're watching it for, you know, a marathon event. Why not give them, you know, the chance to do that? So essentially monetizing that into charity events is an awesome thing as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And welcome, Mesmerize. And someone else was in here. Visibly Twitching. I like the name. Welcome. Are you visibly twitching? Visibly twitching? That's hard to say. All right. So for now, i7 is going to turn off because we're going to code it. So I have to shut it off because we can't, you know, have it running and be programming it at the same time, obviously. So let's have a look. So we broke everything into tabs, which kind of works. I sort of did that just for the sake of ease of this thing, but the problem is these tabs, because of the way it works, we do have a bunch of tabs on this screen, so you'll notice I don't have a shortage of them. What I want to do is get rid of the color tab. I do like it, like I like the icon I chose for it and everything, but I kind of feel like it needs to go. Actually, hang on, I was totally lying to you guys. I closed this and I realized I don't need to close this. Neat thing, let me show you something cool about WPF programming that you guys might not know. I don't need to close it. I can make changes to it live while it's running, and it recompiles and fixes it. So we'll reconnect i7. So this is i7. If I were to change something, like this is called menu colors, I could say the menu colors, save it, and look, it's the menu colors. Yay! I can remove the, and it's gone. So we are actually changing this live. So if I want to get rid of that silly paint can icon from there, hey, the silly paint can is gone. It just says menu colors now. If I want to put the silly paint can back, the silly paint can is back. So I can change it. That's one of the nice things about WPF is that because I have it, configured to, the application will let me make changes while we are actually running it. So a couple of other things that are going on. We have this menu color view model that's on here. Did I bind that one? I did not. So let's take this. I'm going to make this the data context of my menu colors group box. And there we go. So right there, I've got them too small, but you can see those are the menu colors right there. So just so we can see them lined up, it's those tiny little boxes right there. But you can see it changes to whatever color palette I've set and goes to those. So we do have that preview lined up. Thank you, Janiscu, for giving me another example there. I really do appreciate that when people jump in with those. Actually, it's quite nice when I'm not the only one running the commands, because it nicely shows visibly twitching. It certainly is going to be an open source project in the long run. This game. Wait, who won? Janiscu won. That's why. Yeah, that's why he said it was rigged. Okay, yes. So there's a running gag in the channel that all the bot games are rigged, despite the fact that people were here watching me build them. They know I didn't rig any of the games because they watched them get coded. I suppose they think I rigged them after the fact. Clearly, that's what I did. All right, let's just make all these bigger. All right, so that's a little bit bigger. Let's make them bigger. 60 and 30. Okay, that's not bad. Now let's shove them together. Actually, maybe could I just make this fill? Can I do that? Is there not an option for that? Horizontal alignment stretch. I think that's what I want instead of the width. I think that's how I do it, as I recall. Hey, Mr. Shoji, welcome. Yes, and then vertical alignment stretch too. I think, is that how I do it? Yeah, okay. So instead of having height and width, I am going to vertically and horizontally stretch these values. And now when I look at it, it doesn't take up any space at all because I did not define the width and height of the rows themselves. So rows have height. Columns have width. That's going to be too much. Yeah, by a lot. I don't know what I was smoking there for a second. But there we go. Okay, so that's our current color palette. And that's the default color palette. Yay. All right. Not bad. Let's see. You've rigged it. Oh yes, Mr. Shoji, I clearly rigged random in there. You can tell by the pixels. Holy crap. Oh man, people have been doing their research here. All right, so we have a nice little preview there going. So that's not bad for I don't know how much work did we do here to make that work. Patrick, welcome. Thank you for that follow, much appreciated. And anyone else who's in here, welcome to the stream. And if you didn't click the follow button, be sure to do so. It is a good way to get notified when we go live. And since I haven't been very regular with like our streaming schedule lately, it's a good idea to make sure you get those notifications. Glad to hear it, Mr. Shoji. Glad to hear it. You got to keep me honest on those things. You know I'll try to rig any game I can. Let me shrink this a little bit. We're going to do 40, 40, 80, and 80. There we go. That's a little bit better. We don't need the preview that large. Okay, next thing I want to do is I don't really like where it put menu colors on here. I kind of want it to sit next to character names. So we have a... Oh, nope, not a vertical wrap panel. Let's do a horizontal wrap panel. So there we go. Can I do padding on these? It's like, I want to do padding on the items. I guess I could margin the group boxes, but I don't really like doing that. Do I p-invoke? No, we don't p-invoke anything in this. There we go. Alright, so character names, menu colors. Yes, I can define all the individual things, but I just wanted some padding in there so it didn't look terrible. So, character names, menu colors, and they are taking the full height on that group box, but I'm not terribly worried about it. I guess I could list the values below it. Why don't I do that? That actually seems like a decent idea. Does it support? Yes, it does, Cadmus. Yes, it does. You just made it white. So, you can actually do that for all the colors. So, if you wanted to, you could do this as well. So you could do 4 colors that way. And there is a color palette that I made with 4 colors using hex for our colors. So yes, we do have RGB support. You can do 6 hexadecimal digits or 3 hexadecimal digits. I went with 3 because it was a little bit shorter to do, but you get a little bit less control that way. Yeah, you can totally choose your colors however you like, which means you can get some truly awful colors like this. Whoops. Oh. You got to do all 4 if you want to do it physically twitching. Yes, Cadmus. Even with white, you're correct. So keep in mind that was that little effect, that little it's more of a 3D chiseled effect if you look really closely at that. That they went with on this font style. They did that because they realized that you might make it white. So that's actually built into the original game to be able to do that. But you can't see what else we're doing behind the scenes. So let me show you all one of the other little pieces that we do that you might not know is here. But Mr. Shoji's here in chat. So he actually started this little piece here. He did the original Seng overlay that we integrated in here, and came up with the styling and font and made this status display. So it was funny because Mr. Shoji, who you see in chat there, and I were doing basically the same thing, reading the same memory locations in the game all the time, and I was manipulating it, but yep, that's Mr. Shoji. But he was just reading more of it because he was pulling out this status display that you can see up above me here. And if you watch, when we change the menu colors, it changes now as well. So what he was doing before was doing like a 2 second or a 1 second polling. He was doing some kind of polling against like whatever the colors were in game. So we slightly modified that because we're now sending push notifications to it with the color changes as they happen, as well as for a number of other things. So we tied them together. So instead of you can still grab the old Seng status overlay that is just, the polling against the game, running status display on its own thing, or there is this one which is built into. It was 0.3 seconds. Okay, Yes, it was responsive enough that everything looked good except for our color transitions were a little bit off because my blend, like the way that I was blending, is a little bit fast. So everything except for when we do this slow transition looked fantastic on it. This one was just a little choppy, and that was it, because it was like apparently every third of a second it made a change. Whereas, yeah, it was still pretty good. It would. I think we're changing this. I think it's like 10 a second or something like that on this transition, which is, you still see it a little bit choppy, but we didn't want to like overwhelm the game. How fast do I actually do that? I don't remember. Hang on. That makes me wonder. A menu color change word. It should be in here. Set menu colors, run. Just do it. Yes. Okay, I was right. It is 10 times a second. Ish. I say ish because we did it the cheater way. And just slept it instead of like sleeping for 10 milliseconds and checking the time or something like that, where we'd be closer to it. But there are a couple of ways of doing that a little bit better, like some interval type stuff. But we didn't do that, and it works just fine anyway. So it's one of those good enough. So anyway, so there's this status display that a streamer would run the whole time. In addition to that, we then also added on, and we did this one on stream, we added in events. So have you made use of span at all? There's probably a span. Oh, you mean like memory span? We were showing a website, and my brain went to HTML, but you mean the memory span. We are not using any spans in here right now. What we are reading out comes out as an array that we could span into for some of our reading, for some of our larger for some of the larger reads that we're doing, we could do some of that. Most of what we're doing right now is essentially like marshalling on to some struct objects. Yes, obviously for performance reasons, we should be using spans for some of the stuff. There are a number of things that we could be using to improve some of these bits and pieces here and there. Let me check one thing real fast. Name bids, cloud. What do we got? DevChatter. Cloud. Spike. Actually, we'll call him Buster. Cloud will be Buster, and I need to do 2001 in order to rename that. So this right here, see that? Look, Cloud's name is now Buster. So we have these nice little event triggers that we built here on stream also. So those also come up while people are running the game and running our tooling for this. So it's kind of neat. It's good stuff. Okay, so we adjusted out that. Yeah, so You are totally right, visibly twitching. And something else that we are planning on doing is actually making a Twitch extension at some point for this. So essentially like being on the stream and people can actually click instead of just having to use menu commands for everything. So also of note, people might have changed that my overlays colors have changed a couple of times during the stream. If you mention colors, my stream overlay just changes. So if I were to just say, you know, yellow, it should change to yellow when it notices. So yeah, so it switches over to the new color. Yep, aqua should work. So there, now we've got aqua. And the cool thing with that is that one also respects hex codes. So if you wanted to, you know, do that, you can switch it back to yellow with that. Or you could say lime green. Actually, lime really doesn't look bad on this because there's so little of it. It highlights nicely. So when people try to troll that one, it's not that bad. It's like, actually, it's not. Because it's not everywhere, it's really not bad at all. So, but that is one of the tricks, is don't get caught by that. Ooh, you know, this is interesting. This, I just realized something. So we were looking at this and I said the font was bad and unreadable at one point. I wonder if that is because of the color choice. Is there a color that makes it disappear? Oh, because it's not on the accent, it disappears. Yeah, because it thinks it's on the accent. So this text color is disappearing. So see that? If it thinks it's going to be drawn on red, it's light. But if it thinks it's going to be drawn on a bright color, it disappears. So I have an issue with my styling of the text in here that I'm going to need to fix. So I don't know if that was obvious to anyone. So yeah, when I'm on blue, red, and green, it's fine. But if I go to any other bright one, like cyan, for example, I can no longer read that text. Good job, S&B. I don't have it open, though. So what S&B actually triggered with rainbow is this. So if you look carefully, you can tell it's constantly changing colors. So rainbow mode, like you just call rainbow, and it actually just starts doing this. So the game will just run for a little while, switching between all the colors. It's really kind of cool. And yes, Cadmus, we do need to fix contrast on those. So the application was trying to switch contrast on this text, but I just don't have that text set correctly to fix it. Hey, Surly Dev. I think I've got an uptime command, don't I? Yeah, there we go. Stream has been going for 38 minutes. Yeah, see, I started super late today. I started about an hour late, and I apologize for that. So let's hop over to the About page, and we'll have a look at styling. So for anyone that doesn't know how styling works in WPF, congratulations first off, because you have never had to learn that. But it actually is fair. I jest. It's really not as bad as it could be. They did a decent job with making the styling reusable and changeable and things like that, but oh boy, do you really have to know it. Okay, so visibly twitching does Xamarin Dev. Yeah, so you know it. So like, it really does have some power, but it'll mess with your head because it's not the same as other things you're used to. So you really have to get used to it. I actually used to do a decent amount of dev on WPF a long time ago, but the hilarity is that I worked for a company that had a fantastic crew of designers. By the way, I love having designers on the development team. I love great designers. I love great testers. I love having people that are really fantastic with databases. I love having people that are fantastic at UI and UX and things like that. When you hear me use the term developer, I actually refer to everyone on the team as developer, regardless of the role. Some people like to gatekeep and like, developers, they're only the ones writing the code that's in a, like a procedural or object-oriented. No, the developers are anybody that does any of the development stuff. Like, you're involved in the development of an application, cool, you're a developer. That developer might focus on coding. That developer might focus on UI and UX stuff. That one might focus on the testing of the application. Like, everybody's developer done. And yes, Yeah, so WPF doesn't match Xamarin exactly. UWP doesn't exactly match WPF. If anyone used Silverlight back in the day, it didn't match WPF. None of the different flavors of XAML match exactly. So, but they're fairly similar. And yes, Mr. Shoji's correct. If you switch between them, you'll go insane. I don't have a lockdown. Mr. Surly Dev, I shaved this morning. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm pretty late this morning. I shaved like, I don't know, a few hours, 3 hours ago. So it's perfectly clean. No, I'm not crazy like our Dallas. I'm gonna keep clean shaven. Then again, I worked from home the whole time anyway, so this isn't like, it's not that abnormal to me. Yes, so unification of XAML would be fantastic. UWP hopefully dies out, because while I get what they were going for, I feel like there did not need to be two approaches for the same thing. And the fact that WPF handled it the way that most people wanted, I kind of go, can't, like it just be a configuration option in a WPF app that makes it Windows Store version, and then you still match with the exact way that WPF did it the whole time. Why did we make it different? Who knows? Yeah. So when people talk about so I'm looking forward to .NET 5. I think it's going to be a nice change. We'll see how that goes though. Okay, so looking at this, here's why the problem comes up. So let's solve this styling issue. So if you look at this, About Interactive 7 is this right here. It is a label, and the text block is this right here. It is a text block. So we have a label and a text block as two separate elements that are used a little bit differently. Now the problem is the text block seems to think that it's going to be shown on the accent color. So because of that, it has styled to the wrong color. Hey, Fuel Snable. Greetings, welcome. I have been working too hard lately, and I apologize about that, everyone. That is one of the reasons why I have not gotten as much stuff done lately as I would like. So we have a couple of options. First off, what we could do is we could just put in some resources. I'll show you the simple one. Stack panel.resources. So I could put in a set of resources right here and say, actually, let me steal some code from, oh my god, no, I did not mean to click that. Visual Studio, no, I didn't do it, I promise, Visual Studio, please let me have control again. I didn't mean to click a thing. Hey, Crimson Green, welcome. I didn't mean to click buttons that makes you do stuff. Please give me control again. All right, everybody, it's time to sacrifice any animals that you have around. If someone has a chicken or a goat, that will probably work the best to get oh, wait, I've got control again. Hang on. Close it. Yeah, close it, yes! Yeah, I think it was just figuring out the objects when it was in there. Okay, so I want to steal some code out of here. This, because I can never remember I can never remember what that is. So I'm going to do this. I need a style. I do not want a key on it. Target type is going to be text block, and I want it based on... Okay, so the way that styles work in WPF is with the... Good job, Surly Dev. I was hoping someone would say something about hiding a cat or something like that. That's why I was commenting about small animals and such. What you want to do is you want to base your style on another style. So this says, hey, I want to style a text box. Now, if you want to have total control of it and just start from scratch and build a style, you can do that. But most of the time what you want to do is base it on your existing style. You want to say, I want to match this one mostly, but I'm going to make these adjustments to it. And so that's what based on is going to do. So I need to put the name of another style in here. So I need to grab, it is, ours is going to be based on whoops, not that one. A static one like that, but it's not this one, but it is like that one. So we want to be based on this. So not tab item, but text block. Now, the reason I want to do that is because we are using so we're using Ma apps to do some of our styling. And so because of that, I want to base it on this so that we match with the way the rest of the application is running. So should be good. Now, because I've put this here, it should already be applying it. And yes, it indeed has. So look at how enormous that text has gotten because I adjusted the font size. But if I remove the font size piece, that will go away. And if I remove this as well, now all of a sudden we're back to exactly what it was. So this is the style we had before. Okay. Yeah, so Simon, there have been some bugs recently that, but either way, Visual Studio's out of it, so I'm good with that. Graphics driver crashes. I would hope graphics driver didn't crash on this. There used to be an SSD team. Oh my god, Crimson Green, I just finally read your message. That is fantastic news. Absolutely hype, man. That is cool. There's going to be a tiny little Crimson Green running around. That or a tiny little Mrs. Crimson Green, whose name, if I ever knew, I can't remember. But either way, that is awesome news. Congratulations. I think you're going to look forward to that. Because they're fun. I have a small human that should be taking a nap right now. I haven't heard him, running around downstairs or causing any kinds of problems, so I assume he's still napping. We'll find out. But that is great news. You read that as an accusation. No, Mr. Shoji. While it's nap time, small human silence is actually a good thing. Especially since, his mother is with him. So, it's not like he's on his own. So that just means that he has not caused any problems. Okay. So on this, I almost feel like I want to put like header boxes around these or something, instead of making them labels, like boxing around them. But either way, this font needs to get fixed. So let's just do this first off. So we're going to do a setter. So this is how you manipulate one of the values. So I want to say the property of this setter is going to be the foreground. So foreground in this case is going to be the color of the text itself, not the background color of the text block. And I want to set the value of it. Now, see, it gives me options, so I could set it to orange, but obviously I don't want orange, right? Even though that kind of works. If I were to then, I guess orange actually might work almost anywhere, but we don't really want to use orange, even though that is quite easy to read. Instead, what we want to do is developers. Welcome, developers. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the raid. Feed money. I hope that's how you say it, by the way. I've seen your name before in my Discord and such, and I think I guessed that that's what it was. Yes, exactly. Developers. I love that Balmer thing. For good or ill, Balmer was a character. Crazy guy. All right, so we want a dynamic resource, and this basically means that there is a dynamically defined value somewhere in our system that we want to bind this to. So that's sort of what we're saying when we're saying dynamic resource. When I said static resource, there is a static text box styling that exists and is defined somewhere. The dynamic resource is going to be a changing value on this. And so this one is essentially the variable. So I want this to adjust as the user changes the style of the app. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome to the stream. We can say hello, or we could dance. We could have a dance party. I'm not actually going to dance, but we could totally do that. Or we could be shocked that you've arrived. Okay. So the dynamic resource that I want, I know I've used back here somewhere before. Ideal foreground, I think, is the wrong one. I think we want theme foreground, but let me confirm that. Yeah, because that doesn't show. So theme foreground, I think, is the one we want. What is it? Not that? You're telling me that it's not this. Thank you, Crimson Green, for covering the hype here in the chat. You're telling me it's not that. Really? That one it takes, but then this one it doesn't? Is it going to complain about that? Really? Okay, I guess it's going to complain about that. Oh, yes, you were hyping up the software. Yes, i7 is fantastic. New people, welcome to the stream. If you are new here, please try typing in one of these commands that it suggests right there. For example, this one. So if you know anything about Final Fantasy VII, this is absolutely ridiculous that we have given chat control of this. We also, if you want to go back to the game's default, there's the game's default. So, absolutely crazy, crazy stuff here. So, there we go. So, good stuff. Why didn't that work? Theme foreground. Seems like it didn't apply the color I wanted. Surly Dev, don't just do color straight. You could just put in the word like green will change my overlay like that, like what Visibly Twitching just did there to change it to yellow. And if you want to do in the game, you got to type it in like Seed Money did. Not like Surly Dev did, so it's like lime, salmon, pink, red. Yeah, like that. There you go. What a beautiful color palette you did there, Surly Dev. Thank you, Mr. Shoji. So Mr. Shoji triggered the rainbow, which is the money. Oh yeah, that works too. Oh yeah. Oh, but I like what I said better. That sounds fun. But the money, that works. Welcome. Oh, I could just call you the other side of that. The welcome the the money. Welcome. It also could be demony. Is it demony or is it demony? All the ways that you can read names. Like Sir Lidev there. Yeah. You gotta love Sir Lidev. Sir Lidev has been a viewer of this stream for a long time. Okay, so just to be clear, if I change this to white, it is just, oops, it just changes to white, which I don't want white. I want whatever it is based on that value. My apps. What is ideal foreground at this point? I don't want to set a background for it. Why isn't it using that value? What is ideal foreground right now? Oh, is ideal foreground the selected or the non-selected on those ones? is selected false. So I want theme foreground first off, not ideal foreground. Maybe that resource isn't getting loaded. I wonder if I'm just getting tricked because the dynamic resource isn't loading correctly. And I need to do this. I'm betting it might not have been reloading. So, just a heads up. So I told everybody that in WPF, we can make styling changes to the XAML and you see it update immediately, and that's actually really, really nice. However, some things don't update correctly. Oh man, Pudding, welcome. Greetings. Alright, let's see. Did it actually update correctly? So if we change to a light theme, we totally lose the ability to see it. So something went wrong. Yeah. And that disappears still. Yeah, no, I agree, Pudding. I like the dark theme much better on that. But what's getting me is I thought that text would show up. What do I do for the header? What's this? What is the styling I chose for the header? Did I choose anything? Nope. Left it totally alone. Did I set them to something? Text block. Okay, all we've got is this, which is that. I do not set the color. It is a text block inside of a grid with totally unset color. That, for some reason, that one works and mine doesn't. Oh yeah, Mr. Shoji could be correct. They could have their brightness really low. One of the other options is they could be like out in the sun, or could be working on a projector. So if you're working on a projector, it is actually a little bit easier to see a lighter theme on a projector. So pro tip for anybody who is doing presenting, it is actually easier to see for more people in the audience. If you like, that doesn't mean better for everyone, but more people in the audience can see a presentation on a screen. The light is actually easier to see. Generally, people prefer a dark theme for other settings than that. And then aside from that, it just comes down to preference for most people. But it is a little bit easier to tell the difference. And yes, Pudding, some people, it just hurts their eyes regardless, and there's not much you can do about that. If it is just too bright, there's nothing you can do. Okay, so we are altering the text blocks and trying to give them this styling with theme foreground. Actually, that might just work. Yeah, that's just working. Okay, so that's the one I need. Because I can switch to light theme and dark theme, and I can always read it. Okay, so now the problem is I'm losing, like, this just looks like a block of text, so I want to get some kind of header on that. So my options are either I can just style it manually, or I can take the shortcut of just putting a box away from it. I think I'm going to go with the shortcut of just putting boxes around it. Nothing like cheating. Group box with a header. I'm gonna cheat these things. Alright, so inside of here, we're just gonna do a group box. Alright, that's what we wanted. We don't have a data context on it. That is just there for that. Ooh, I can do this. So in theory, I could have just done this on the content piece of the label for each label and just do that up to there, like that. There we go. For the labeled section. And then primary contributors there. Okay, how's that look? Okay, so they're not, the stuff's not in the boxes, but I think that'll work. Excellent. Yes, it's there's pudding. You want to get a dark when you used it before it was cool, and then I discovered synthwave theme, which is dark but waken. There are some really nice themes that are still dark. SNB thinks he's a toddler. Toddlers definitely get covered in pudding. 8 minutes of cool TD shaders. It's surprisingly hard to fill in that sort of stuff. Something interesting that people might care about. I have been working on my DevChatter basics videos again. So if you are not one of my subscribers on YouTube, I think I've got a YouTube. Yes, I do. I do have a YouTube command. Excellent. Feel free to check out our channel there, because I have been trying to work on my DevChatter basics videos again. I'm hoping to put another one out soon. I need to stack panel inside the group box, Brendan. You gotta do that before you put them in there. Durr. Alright, so once we create these, because a group box can't just have this, so this would have to be... I guess we'll just stack them, because that's just what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna put it on the closing of the group box. Okay. Yeah, I wanted a nice about page. I think it's nice. It's nice to have an about page. Oh, actually, I put this one in a uniform grid. So this one technically doesn't need a stack panel then. Why did I put that in a uniform grid? I have no idea! Sometimes I do things and I don't know why. Hey, we just started the music again. You gotta love that loop. There we go. Okay, fonts are totally messed up, but that actually did work reasonably well. Because this adjusted the font size and weight inside, not of the header itself. I think. I bet there was a separate one to adjust the header, and I messed with the wrong one. There we go. Much better. Okay, so now I've got an issue with margins. So I am going to toss a margin 4 on each one of these group boxes, because it's just a good idea to have margins on your group boxes. I should probably just make that a uniform style that happens everywhere instead of copy-pasting that onto all 4, but meh, I'm going to do it anyway. Thank you for the subscription there, Demoney. And sounds like Cadmus did as well. Yeah, so our YouTube channel is both the archives of our channel, but it's also a spot where I had planned on putting out videos. So those that have been here for a long time know that I originally, started acquiring stuff to be able to do DevChatter in like 2015 or something crazy like that. It was an absurdly long time ago. I started setting this up. The plan was to do a couple of live streams a week and a couple of recorded videos a week was like my plan for what I was going to do with DevChatter stuff. And so like live streams I was going to do mostly like katas and things like that, and then the recorded stuff was going to be like videos about programming stuff. And when I started out, I ended up just jumping right into the live stream because editing and producing video is a pain in the butt if you've never done it before. Well, it's a pain in the butt regardless of whether you've done it before. And if you have done it before, then you know it is. And if you haven't, newsflash, it is a pain in the butt. Editing video is not an easy task. So be sure to thank anyone that edits video as their job, because those people are awesome. So not a great look, but hey, that's much better than it was. It's no longer a giant block of text. Okay. Naming has that values. Okay, so this is starting to come together. I want to get a commit on this code, so let's go ahead and do that, because so we did some improvements to that view, so I'm gonna do that. So things we did today. We added in a preview of the menu colors. So menu color preview and about tab styling. So those are the main things that we just did here, are those pieces there. So you guys didn't see it, I put that in off stream. I added a value converter that switches from color values to a solid color brush so that we can display the colors in here. So those are just solid color brushes. I could have gone back to what we did before. We used to blend those and make it actually look like the color styling in FF7, but I didn't yet. I'm also debating putting the display of what the color is in here, but that can be another commit. So let's push that in for now and push that change up. And now let's have a look at that same tab and see what we can do with it, because why not? So that is this tab right here. Yes. Now, how do we want to display that? So we've got this in here. It's we've got a group we have that, but I'm thinking that I want to do a doc panel instead. No, I want a doc panel around the, so I want to hold that as a grid because I don't mind that as a display for that. So we're gonna make a doc panel, and the grid is gonna go inside of it. And this, so some of the way that layout works, a dock panel, the elements in it are going to dock to one of the sides. So it's going to dock to a side. So pick one. That's where it's going to dock. And it's going to make a layout based on that. So dock panel, dock. We're going to dock this to the top of the dock panel. So if we look at our view, you'll notice it has not changed despite our adding a dock panel. I has Pocky Live. We are, so first off, welcome. Hi. Greetings. This is a software development stream where we are building an application that gives chat control of Final Fantasy VII. So, for example, if you want to randomize the menu colors, you type in that command and the menu colors get randomized. Yep, just like that. Thanks, Surly Dev, for the lime. You can specify individual colors. You can just tell it to do random. You can do four-named colors like what's suggested in this little box here next to me. You can do a number. Yes, you could just make it pink if you want. The funny thing is, Pocky, that my overlay, someone had already changed it pink. You'll notice these little pips are pink around me right now. Is it not going? Did it? It might need a, yeah. So if you just type in a menu color, the overlay that's around me should also change. Yeah, there it is. So you can see that one's going around. Yeah, and Janiscu changed it as well. So lots of color control on here. The more interesting thing, which I guess I will show all of you. So welcome, new people. Let's show the actual craziness that has nothing to do with menu colors. So if you know anything about this game, welcome to Crazy Land. Because first off, yes, even while I'm playing the game, watch, use the menu color commands in here, and so someone changed menu colors while I'm doing this. You'll just see that, like, while the game is going, you can, like, I don't need to be in the menus. See, there's the random that Janiscu just did. So here's the crazy part. If I want Cloud to go asleep, use that command, Cloud goes to sleep. If I want to confuse Barrett, I use that command, Barrett's confused, now he's attacking Cloud for some reason. If I want to make my whole party have regen, I can put in those commands, and congratulations, all my characters now have regenerating health. And yeah, so the problem is I do have the cost turned on for some of these, so you won't be able to trigger all of them. Chat won't be able to, but this is like, so we've got so we sometimes have like status display issues that come up where it showed Barrett as being confused, but he is not actually confused. I think we just need to apply a new status to him. No, he's just going to show that the whole time. Either way, let's go ahead and get ourselves a game over here. Wait, what do you mean he can't? All right. No, I think he can't be. He must have he must be equipped with a something that protects against petrify, like a ribbon or something. And yes, rainbow does work in here, like while we're in this screen. Oh. Yeah. Good call, Shoji. Yeah. I was talking, we were talking about different things. Yeah, I was talking about Cloud. Yes. That is one of the challenges, is that there are some things that do need to get changes. Yeah. Game over, man. Game over. So I triggered the game over so we could get back to the screen because I didn't want to get stuck in the combat and be on the other side of that so that we can get into one. So yes, so Pocky, so if you're not a programmer, welcome. There's still fun to be had, and maybe you'll learn something about that. But if you are a programmer or a gamer or interested in Final Fantasy VII or anything like that, yeah, Cadmus, that is a problem with the error message that I haven't been willing to fix because it's just not worth fixing that. I've got so many other things that need to be done. But yes, you asked for Barrett's name to be Cadmus, and you need to bid the amount you want to put in there. But I can actually do this, and his name will be Cadmus. So congratulations, it's reset. So the challenge is because I loaded the game, we need to do a refresh, and i7 doesn't detect a reload of the game, and so does not automatically do a refresh of things. Yeah, you don't need to have knowledge of programming to see some of the stuff we're doing and make suggestions on the styling and how it works, so. Okay, so I made this dock panel. I told it to dock that to the top, which means that it's docked to the top. Anything else I put in is going to occupy the remaining space. So let's put in something to occupy the remaining space. How about a stack panel? I guess we can vertical stack panel the bottom. So we'll put in a vertical stack panel, and in this, I want to put in a series of maybe labels. content binding. These bindings here, like this. What's that gonna do? I don't actually know what this is gonna show. That's text content? Oh my god, that actually worked great. Look at that. I got the color names to display. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. Alright, let's go back and try this. What's it gonna... Oh! So it doesn't display quite right, but look at that. That's actually not bad. That's the RGB values that it showed there on my random menu selection. And that's actually what the named colors are for the Brendan palette there. That's actually really neat. So, for example, this. Black, teal, teal, black. That's the Suna color palette. There's the Strife color palette. Yeah, so, DeMoney, the interesting thing on that one is that I have actually done some, well, actually, you might know this. I have done some custom, like, Streamlabs bot scripting on this channel before. So we have done custom scripts for Streamlabs bot because I wanted to show people how to do that because it is a very common bot, whereas most of the stuff that we do here on the stream is for professional developers. So like we, code and build a whole program from scratch most of the time, but adding a custom script to the Streamlabs chatbot was actually something we've done, I think, twice on the stream. So we've had 2 streams dedicated to that, where we did a few hours just programming Python for those. Okay, so that's not exactly the way that I want these to work. Hey, there you go, Cadmus. And look, it displayed your values. Top left. Yeah, so you did FF for your red. And then this one you did, because you did the white, it's FF for all of them, and that's set as zeros, obviously the same thing. But yep, it's showing showing these values instead of the hex values. Wonder if I could. Hey Nate, welcome to the stream. And thank you very much for subscribing to the stream for 20 months. That's a lot of subscribing to the stream. Well, let's do a custom converter. Actually, I did one of these before, so let's do this again. We're gonna make a menu color name converter. Just gonna take a menu color, and it's gonna make a name out of it. We're gonna move it to its own file. It's a fantastic question, Mr. Shoji, and I kind of want to do both. And that's just why I'm going to do a custom converter. But the thing is, I sort of like doing the name if it has the name. So essentially my thought is, if it has the name, display the name. If it doesn't have the name, then display it using RGB and hex. So well, the trick is if you, I think if you provided it as the hex value, it's going to use the hex. If you provided it as the name, it's got the name. So it'll be whatever the person typed it in as. And yes, that absolutely should have changed it. There it is. Pink, white, pink is quite bright. Did this not, pink, white, oh, pink, white, pink, white. Actually, yeah, that puts the white on the right and the pink on the left. Yeah. And random is much nicer. It's disturbing how nice random looks. There are very few times when random doesn't end up looking good, which is shocking, really. That random almost always looks just fine. I think the only things that look bad are if because any color that potentially is bad is toned down by the other colors, is what it seems to be. You'd be okay with the name displaying as values, but not values being closest names, since that loses accuracy. Yes, exactly. Mr. Shoji's right. Because if you did really want something, you like the blue and the green together. If you like the blue and the green together, then what I really like is this one. This is the Mako command, or Mako if you prefer. It kind of, like, if you look really carefully, you can actually tell that it is moving around a little bit. So it is slowly shifting. So that is supposed to be like the glow of Mako energy in the game that we put on that one. Yeah, exactly. I know, Demoney. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. Yeah. It's good stuff. We actually did it on the stream a long time ago. We made that one that's like, it just glows and it's like, oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so how do we do this? First off, actually, I do want to start with this. If the value is the menu colors, then it's going to work. Otherwise, just return back, null. I guess I could return back like unexpected binding, we'll say. Yeah, soon, TM. Yes, Mr. Shoji is correct. We're getting really close, so I want to get this UI update done, and that's like the UI update and a handful of bug fixes just to kind of clean some things up, and then I want to do like our first public release of the application. So we are very, very close to being ready to have a version of this that regular people will have access to. It partially requires that I get the time to work on it, though. Okay, so and I apologize about the underlines, it is actually complaining about the fact that the program is running, and so it doesn't like that I'm changing things while it's going. Now, it doesn't actually matter, because these changes won't take effect in it, but with multi-state, yes, Mr. Shoji, yes, there are a couple of things with status effects in certain battles that we need to get resolved. We have some bugs with status effects in certain battles, which some things that we could do is detect that we're in a battle that is a problem and just disable the program temporarily. So that's like the cheap way of, hey, we're ready to launch V1, and in V2 we'll actually fix the issues. But there are a couple of those kinds of things where it's like, oh yes, there's a problem with this. So so I was gonna say, with the battle arena battles, I know we have problems with the battle arena battles. I think we've resolved the issue with the pyramid, but I have not confirmed that we've resolved the issue with the bubbles yet, Mr. Shoji. So we need to check on that one. I haven't tried it personally, but I know that pyramids, I believe we got fixed by just saying, is the character in a pyramid? Cool, you can't mess with them right now, because things will get bad. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Mr. Shoji. Battle, yes, that's what I mean. I was referring to the issue that you were talking about. Battle Arena, I know, has some issues, which is multi-stage battle. Okay. Oh, I meant to do colors. Dot. Oh, I didn't mean this. This one's not a menu colors. This is a system drawing colors. Wait, is it system drawing? What is it? Color? Which kind of color is a system drawing? So it's a system drawing colors, not a Windows Media color. It's color. If color dot is named color, return the color name. Colors is almost an enum of color. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the bubble I meant in the Leviathan battle, Mr. Shoji. The bubble that you get put in the Leviathan battle. Before you do the Priscilla minigame. Color dot so the toString, did I name these? Okay, so that is their version. So checks to see if it's valid, checks if the known color is known color. Which just checks that. It's system color. It's a known color system. Just fine. Name and RGB. Both. Well, that's annoying. Used only for the debugger. I guess I could just do the same thing. Name does that. So if I just did name, then it looks like what that does is it says if it's a named color, it just returns back the actual name. Otherwise, it does hex, which means this would cover our name case, name or hex, and then we could show the RGB separately. So let's do that. So instead of trying to figure out whether it's one, let's return back a combination of the color.name, because it looks like that'll hex it if it needs to. And then over on this side, color dot we'll do R G B. So that's color.R. Color.G. Color.B. And that should display the value that we want regardless. So if it's got a name, it'll do the name and the RGB, and if it's got hex, it'll do the hex and the RGB. Keeping in mind that that means that the user that defined it in our chat used hex, because that's why we wouldn't have the name. So we want to show what they did and what the value is for putting it in there. Spacing between the B and the... Thank you! So that should work there. Now, I will need this to restart when I do it, but I don't need to do that just yet. So let's take this value. We're going to put it in... put it in app XAML in here. As our color name converter, available anywhere in the app, not just in the main menu, because main window, because I'm crazy. Though I probably should restrict that. I did not. What is it? It's converter equals static resource. Okay. Okay. Converter equals static resource. That, and an extra close curly. And I'll get rid of the extra spaces I added in. Menu color name converter. And now I think because it needs to actually do a restart, it cannot get that kind of a change. So it needs to reload the actual XAML view there. So we're going to do a restart of the application and take a look. So that is a change that it can't just do on the fly because it needed to re-register the resources in app XAML. So there we go. So that's what it thinks the current color palette is. And if I do a menu random, you'll see that it is filling in those values for both the hex and the RGB. I need to figure out if there's a way I can add the number sign at the beginning of that if it is required. And I want to, and it's showing the alpha. We have some ways we can do that. So I'm going to adjust the name converter. And I'm going to say color name. That's not bad. Cadmus, I can't because the iValue converter interface does require that to be an object. So I cannot actually change that to be a string because this is the way that, and you're right, this is a WPF thing. This interface is specific to WPF and does have just an object as the return. And you're right, it would then have to do boxing and unboxing of the type. I kind of wish that value converter were generic so we could get around that and we could specify the type both that it takes in and returns. But part of the reason I think that it doesn't, well, I guess if you did your generics with a base type, you could get away with that. So, but fantastic question. Yes, if we were not in this case, we could totally do that. If it starts with FF, I don't think there's a named color that starts with FF. I'm just going to go ahead and guess on that there isn't one. Then I want it to be color.name 2 to the end. And actually, let's do this. So we're going to say $, number, and then we're going to put in color name to the end. So that is the color name if that's how we handle the hex case. Otherwise, it is just going to be color.name because it's a named color at that point. You know what? Actually, I could just do this. If it is a named color, do it that way. Otherwise, we're going to chop it because it's the other type. Yeah, that makes way more sense. I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so if it's a named color, use the name. Otherwise, we're getting a hex value and we're going to chop it. Okay. We're going to restart again because we do need to, and then I will reconnect the application when I do. And were we not already on Lime? If we weren't, Janiski, we were pretty close to Lime, I thought. Let's try red. We haven't had red in a while. Okay, so it looks like, what did it do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, there's no red in those, so that makes sense. When we, oh, I did not connect. There we go. So now I change that. So we got dark red, black, black, dark red. So that looks correct and is showing the values we expect. And then if I change to random, it is using hex values that are prefixed with the one that we want. So perfect. Oh, it was magenta before? Okay, I must have looked after you'd already switched it to lime. It changes pretty quickly, but that actually looks not bad. That's actually what the color palette looks like when it's blended. It looks way better blended than it does as our 4 little boxes, doesn't it? Isn't that remarkable how nice that looks when you blend those colors together? I like that. That's nice. So that's our current menu colors. Those are the current character names. Oh, I know. It's one of these days we really need to look at the code that they use to write that. Because if we could dig into the code, I would love to see it. Because if we could, we could take the exact algorithm that they use and just do that exact same thing with our colors here in C# and make that same blending. So I don't know what they did. Like, we need to grab that code at some point and just have a look at what that algorithm is. Because then we could actually just match it without having to do something weird like trying to... the approximation on our like HTML windows is not bad, and people on the internet have tried to approximate it for a while, but I really think the answer is go, look at what the code is the game actually uses to see what that algorithm is and write a version of it in another language that does it. So... yeah, exactly, because of some of the tricks that you have to do to sort of make it work, it doesn't look as nice when you're not in a blended color, because you can then tell that we're cheating. Hey, Katrina, welcome! You did make the stream. I started the stream crazy late too, if that makes any difference. Alright, so we added a menu color, color name display on dashboard. Totally did that. That is nice. I was happy with that. All right. Yay! We got it. I like that. It's not perfect, it doesn't look great, but it is there. And that is one of the important things. Actually existing matters. What else do we need to do? So at some point I need to give some kind of display or some way of looking at the GIL that people have. Hang on. The internet has to know how to do this. I'm going to ask the internet. How to automatically select all text on focus in a WPF text box. Yes. Internet, I don't know this one. So that looks like a perfectly acceptable answer, but this is a much better answer because it actually shows what the methods are. Another... Oh yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I registered. So what does this do? Yes, to the interwebs. Oh, yes, that would be hard to read. The Stack Overflow result here. That's actually why. So if people are wondering, why do I have the font size so big in here? Because I mean, it's big, but it's not that big. Because you need a lot of text to display. Actually, I usually use 120. I'm not sure why I wasn't at 120. Sorry about that, folks, if it was small today, but I usually use 120 just because it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so let's open this up and have a look in, have a look here. So the font size here is just a regular font size, but this I make nice and big so people can read on a stream. And if people want me to zoom in on this browser so you can read it too, there you go. Here's giant font Stack Overflow. All right, so what did they do here? They did an on-start to register a class handler for. Woo! I don't want to do that everywhere. What did they do? So, see, they made a derived text box. That's funny. This one, what did it do? Huh. This is an interesting solution, actually. So this person made a property that would get added to it to essentially make it so that you take your text box, you add in this attribute to it. I actually really like that. That is an interesting way of doing it. And then do they show an example of it getting used? No, of course not. Yeah, there you go, S&B. That is one of the problems with mod view, is that it shrinks the window down into a little smaller space, but mod view is really, really nice. I mod for a couple of other channels, not that I do much modding for them these days, but I am a mod on there, so I am on the mod view in case they need something. But Twitch did a fantastic job with the mod view. I will give them that. So this is a text box behavior. So how do I add the behavior to the text box is the question. Thought they were going to show me that here. So let's do this, because I don't remember how to do this, because it has been a long time since I've messed with any of this kind of stuff. So I'm going to make a folder for behaviors for now. If it works, thank you. Ooh, I do hear a small human awake. My small human is awake and running around the house. And being chased by his mother. I think Juniski was trying to change this color. Did it not get white? Did that one disconnect? It may have. Alright, I will fix it. Yeah, I didn't get the orange either, so Hang on. Hang on. I have to do this first. Okay. That hopping to the be right back screen is a quick way of refreshing. I really need a button that like refreshes the view without changing screens. That would be nice. All right, let's have a look at. So, I don't recommend just copying and pasting stuff from the internet. That being said, what I mean by that is, when you pull it in, have a look at what the code is and what it is doing. We want Windows controls because we are WPF, not WinForms. Okay, so what does this do? So when you attach this behavior to the text box, it does keyboard focus, mouse focus, and preview mouse left button down. Same thing on these, and then for each one of these ones, remove the redundant qualifiers on those. It is calling select all on the associated object, which in this case is going to be our text box. There we go. So then on my text box, we need, this is our behavior. Do I have to set it? I don't think I have to set it to anything, do I? Don't I just do that? Let's go up to the top. We're gonna do this. Namespace on this is interactive 7 behaviors. So we're gonna say behaviors, and then assembly is that one. There we go. So now down here we should be able to get some IntelliSense to help us out. So behaviors. Ooh, it doesn't see it. Isn't ours called? Is that not how we do it? Oh man, if only I could remember how to do this. It's been so long. Yep, custom behaviors in WPF. Thanks, DevExpress guys. I understand that you use those. Thank you. That's how you do it. Okay. I thought I could do it through those. I probably can if I get the syntax right. I just can't remember what it is. So we're not using theirs. Ours is behaviors. Is that not how we do it? Hang on. All right, come on, somebody. Where's the simple example? Yes. Behaviors, here we go. This is what I want. What? Visual Basic, what? XAML behaviors, interaction behaviors. There we go. There it is. Fine. Yeah, I know, Katrina. VB, what? Yeah, it's the problem when you just have namespaces coming in. They can do that. Oh, I probably did that. I probably wrote that wrong when I wrote this. Let me let ReSharper make that for me. There we go. Yep. Fixed, I think. Yep. Oh, I have not done those in forever. That's one of those, if you're doing WPF applications, you do want to know all of these ways of doing things, because the whole point of WPF is that you're not doing this like inheritance style structure down, setting values procedurally. No, you're binding, behaviors onto objects. You're composing things together. It's the way you're supposed to do all this stuff. So that first one, when I select it, it highlights the whole thing, like we expect. And I think I only ever want to highlight the whole thing, so that looks like the correct behavior. Anywhere in there, and it just selects the whole thing, which I think we want. So, and if I tab between them, when you go in, it is automatically selecting the whole thing, so that looks perfect. That's like what we want. Yay! Alright, was there a nicer way of attaching those behaviors? Let me look at this article. Is there a better way of doing that? Not as far as I can see, which is really kind of nasty. But it's fine. We'll just do that. They all have that. That being said, if you want to do the, custom approach, okay, good. So the behaviors applied to those as well now. So now any one of these, when you click in them, it automatically selects the whole thing. So the idea is anybody that uses one of these is just trying to copy-paste the value of that. Let's see. So if we made that button be bound to the same text as that, there's I mean, I still want to do this in a nice way and not just do a key, not just do a button click event in the back end. So we put it on the left or the right? If we put a button in there to do that. Yeah, see, this looks like the way that would just do it nicely. But I want to do that either in a behavior or a bound way or something like that. What would be a good way to do that? I'm not sure. Alright, so let's read through this code and actually make this be our own. Let's see. Select all text on focus behaviors. Perfectly fine behavior for the text name associated. Got keyboard focus. Yep, that is fine. Got keyboard focus. Attaching. Subtract them from that set. Associated objects. Select. You know, this is ridiculously simple code. Well done, person on the internet, for making this actually simple and nice. Based on attached, and then connect those. That would only get called based. That's outside of our code that does that. Yeah, no, that's I'm good with that. That doesn't look bad at all. What did we do here? Tail Learn Code, welcome. Thank you for that follow. Welcome to the stream. All right, so we added the behaviors namespace. We removed that one. We added this one. And down here, we added that behavior onto those. So, select all for overlays. There we go. I don't know. Bot probably disconnected. The annoyance with that thing is that I do know what happens. It just disconnects. It loses its Twitch connection. Is really all that happens whenever the bot, quote, dies. It's just, doesn't still have its connection to Twitch, and it just goes, I have no idea what to do once I disconnect from Twitch. And I should mention to all the various people that have been showing up here once I actually connect the bot again. The silly thing is, if you look, it acknowledged that tail learn code was here. It's like what happens is that Twitch it stops receiving its messages from Twitch is probably the better way of describing it. Like Twitch is done sending it messages for some reason. And I don't know why Twitch no longer wants to send it messages, but it stops receiving messages from Twitch. So that's one of those we've not been fixing that bug, but we need to at some point. It's just never been a priority. So we'll be back on that project someday. That being said, the when my current so. For those of you that know, I am an independent software developer, have been for like 4 years now, something like that. And I do contract work for various clients. One of my main clients right now, obviously my largest client right now, once my current contract runs out, my schedule will clear a little bit, so I'm planning on doing a little bit of streaming, and I'll be picking up some new clients then as well, but I'm hoping for ones that have slightly fewer hours. When that happens, I will be able to do a little bit more streaming then, and video creation as well, so that is the plan. And for anyone that hasn't, if you I do recommend clicking the follow button. It is the best way to get notified when we go live here on the stream, and also join our Discord, as if you do want to catch our future streams, that's the best way to do it. Okay, so we added a behavior for selecting all, and that ought to help. Thank you for that follow, by the way, Blue Knight. Much appreciated. All right, so we're going to push out that change, and other than that, that is, I really do like where that went. So that's not bad. So those are selectable. I really want to put a little copy button in there, but we're not going to do that just yet. What else related to this needs to happen? So we have the preview of the menu colors. We've got a preview of the character names. Is there something else that we want a preview of? On the dashboard. What else would be good to have on the dashboard, I wonder? So we already say up at the top whether you're connected or disconnected, so the bot is now connected, and then because I don't really want to do the status display, because people could turn that on in their game. Maybe like which settings are turned on, like the top level settings that are on. So like whether colors are enabled, whether naming is enabled, and things like that. So some of these are more significant than others. All right. We could show a couple of those, I think. So let's start adding some of that in, because I think that would be nice for a little dashboard display to know what you have turned on. There we go. This should be the dashboard then. Here it is. Yep, thanks, Janiscu. It should be turned on. I just needed a restart. So we have a group box for character names. We have a group box for menu colors. Let's make a group box for settings. I guess we could just do a vertical stack panel for now, listing the various items in here. If we do a stack panel, what's that going to do with this? This is going to be like... I'll label it, it'll be fine. There should be a client to connect it if it disconnects like Interactive 7 does. Yeah, Janiscu, I know. We just haven't, we didn't build a front end for our chatbot ever, so it doesn't have any of those features like connecting and disconnecting. Let's see, so the content for this should be, data context should be main window view model. This is the one I want. So the data context is a binding to this value. So we want this to be what's under here. And then the menu colors. I kind of want this to be like an on-off label. I mean, technically, I can just bind directly to a label, and it's just going to say, like, true or false, but that doesn't help. We need to convert, which I think I actually have a converter for that, now that I think about it. What's on the settings view model? Welcome, Tintoretto. Thank you for that follow, much appreciated. Welcome to the stream. So it is settings that I actually want to be in. No, I don't know what you're doing, but don't do it. No. Why would you think I wanted to see that? Okay, so in here, oh, you know what? Enabled mod commands would be a good idea. What are the mods give bonus bits? What converters do I have? I wonder. Bool to hidden and bool to visibility. Do I not have a, oh man, I might not have a... I have bool to visibility, but I don't have a bool, a yes-no converter. That's an interesting challenge. Bool to on-off converter. We'll make... I don't need anything fancy like that. It's going from bool to string. I don't have default values in this, which means I don't need a constructor either. Goodbye, constructor. Value, target type, parameter, culture. If value is a boolean, if value is not a boolean, return null. Otherwise, return back. Did I say on, off? On, off. I don't ever need to convert back. We don't have a convert back on this. Forget if there's a way to do that. Yes, bonus bits, Crimson Green. Mods can give out bonus bits. As in, like, bits that are not their own. So they can give bits to people. Okay, so there we go. so that is bool to on-off converter. Mods give bonus bits. All right, let's restart the app. It's a very useful feature because in some people's chats, they want to have their moderators be able to give people bits to use for things. Mods give bonus bits on. Cool. Works. This is not how we want this to be done in the long run, but this, functions for now. And we'll style it in a bit. I just want to put some values on here. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I just want this. So then there's this one. Receive bonus bits. That one is also on. And this is sub bonus bit value. So I just want to get the big ones. Like the big things that people are going to want to know are on or off. So there we go. So subscribers in my channel get 150 bonus bits. And then what else do we want to have in there? So inside of menu settings should be enabled. So menu settings.enabled is the next one that we want to do. Except I want to copy it from this one. Menu settings.enabled. Menu colors on. Which is just the big thing. Name bidding should be the same thing. Yep. Just jump back here. So this will be name bidding. And as I said, we don't want to keep it this way long term. We're going to want to change the display of this. I just want to get the values bound here so that we have them. We're probably going to bind these to like some little statusy icon thingies so that like, a red check mark thing for each one is, or sorry, red X, green check mark, So name bidding is on or off. Battle settings should have the same concept. Is this? So allow status effects is what I called this one. So battle settings. Allow status effects. Allow status effects. Okay. Equipment settings enabled. Okay, so this one goes back to the simple one again. Enabled, and You know what? Enable popper command needs to be one. It's significant enough that people just need to know, is that setting on or not? Because it is dangerous if that is on. All right. Item settings. This is equipment commands. So that's name bidding, status effects, menu colors, item commands. So that's going to be item settings enabled. And then this will be materia as well. So that will be materia, and this is going to be materia settings. Exactly, Shoji. If we're going to have a little display as like a quick little glance at like what's on and off, then knowing if popper is turned on or off is absolutely critical. You need to know if that is on or not. Okay, that to cover most of those. The Seng settings aren't really an on or off thing, so I don't think we need to show that one. But that, as like a glance of like what's on and off, I think will work, and we're gonna want to adjust it so that it has icons for it instead of this, and change how we display the names and everything. But those values are gonna be there. You don't think you can beat the game because of popper? I mean, as long as you're willing to go and do everything over again. Temp status display of settings. Okay, I'm going to commit that and push it up. Yeah, as long as you're willing to go and just grind all of your equipment again and all your money, you can always get back from a popper depending on exactly where you are. If you're like saved right before a boss, then yes, and you get the equipment that chat has decided that you get is the other problem. So i7 can make the game really hard if you give chat all the abilities that are in there. But that's partially up to you. Okay. You have bronze bangles. Oh, you're set then. Yeah, no problems if you got bronze bangles. Those are fantastic. Clicky the buttons. Okay. All right. Well, a couple of things that I want to do here. I'm going to rate us over somewhere. I haven't decided where yet. I am going to be wrapping up the stream here, but I do want to mention a couple of things, so don't duck away just yet. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for showing up. If you're not new here, welcome. Thank you for showing up also. A couple of things I want to mention. We are a community of developers here at DevChatter that are all interested in programming and, other interesting nerdy endeavors. As part of that, obviously, my name is Brendan. I am the host of the DevChatter live stream, but we do have a Discord community that is full of awesome people that you will find a link to over in the chat as well as down below the stream. My plan is to continue doing these Saturday streams until my schedule clears up, and then I will be back to my old stream schedule, hopefully, where I used to stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, which was awesome. And I would love to get back to that if I can. I am going to talk to Guy Royce and see if we can do our continued series on building inefficient data structures in JavaScript, which if you haven't caught an episode of that, you can find those over on our YouTube channel. There's an archive of those on our DevChatter YouTube channel, again, linked over there as well as down below. And you can check those out so you can catch up with where we are in building things, as we do want to continue that series that we were doing. So I'm going to see if he can do either this next Saturday or the following Saturday, and we will try to do one of those streams. In addition to that, as I mentioned, the best ways to make sure that you get notified when the stream goes live is to follow the channel, as that will get you that, but also joining our Discord is a good way to know before I go live if I am going to go live, because I do talk over in the Discord about those sorts of things. So if you want to check and see, hey, is there going to be a stream, you can say, hey, is there going to be a stream in the Discord, and find out about planned streams and other things like that. And you'd know in advance about things like, oh, it's going to be a guest stream with Guy Royce, for example. You can also follow either me or DevChatter on Twitter to get that information as well. Okay. Things I want to make sure that I do here. I want to roll our credits because I don't want to forget to roll our credits. So thank you everyone for showing up. I had a fun stream today. I want to thank Katrina, Crimson Green, S&B, and Mr. Shoji for hanging out and helping to moderate the chat today. I want to thank all these wonderful people that followed us, as well as our subs and resubs from House Bazook, S&B, and Nate. So thank you everyone for hanging out today. I had a lot of fun. I'm hoping that you did as well, and I will see you all next Saturday. Let's go ahead and clicky the raid button and send us on over somewhere else. Where do we want to go? Who's got an interesting stream that's live right now? A stream that we want to go to. There's got to be a fun one. So there's a couple of streams from people I follow right now that are going. What are they doing? I can't see what they're doing. Did they not show me a preview when I click this raid button? Okay, good. They do show me a preview. He's on a be right back screen, so we're certainly not doing that. This one could use a raid. Alright everyone, stick around and we will zip on over and raid to another stream. So we're going to head over to SourceScoot's stream. And I will see you over there.